Welcome back, everyone, to Lore of the Shadow, where I have arrived at a fortification I believe is Helm's Deep. We'll find out in a moment whether that's true. But it looks like there's an orc out here scouting, and I think we need to deal with him before we head into the keep. Well, this looks like it's in the hand of Rohan right now. I suppose that's good news. So the question is anyone here? I mean, I presume there's at least a small garrison here, but is Theoden's group here or anything like that? You come to Helm's Dyke in the mouth of the deep. Well, let's see. We've got gambling.
You are here to help us?
I know not what help that you can give us, but I will not turn anyone away. Things have gone ill for us. Uh-oh, what's the problem? Hope of the Helm's Deep. Hope of Helm's Deep. Well, that sounds like you're hoping that I will bring hope? Something like that?
I welcome all able folk, but I count your aid double.
The armies of Saruman assaulted the men at the fords of Isen. Yes, I'm familiar with that battle. And the survivors of the rout are scattered now across the Westfold. Must be maybe there's another battle of the fords there. Well, no one seems to know where Erkenbrand might be found. He is the lord of the Hornburg during time of peace, and would make his way here if he could. Theoden King turned aside from the course and made for Helm's Deep when the size of Saruman's forces became clear. His army is already on the march and will soon be here. I welcome all able folk willing to offer their assistance, but I know you by reputation and count your aid double. Friends of yours already lent us what help they could. You will find them in the dike, throughout the deep, and at the Hornburg. Okay. Ah, well, here's Gimli.
Hail, friend. I knew that you would not miss this chance.
The dwarf has had enough of running and riding and talking. Now is the time for fighting, and quite a battle is shaping it up to be, too. The walls of this fortress seem to be very sturdy, and the men say that the deep has never been taken by an enemy. Aye, and may it not be taken this time either. But I tell you true that I will be a mite disappointed if my axe sees little use. There are orc next to you, and I am just the dwarf to do it. I expect that you'll find Legolas atop the fortress wall. He would prefer a nice long view of the approaching orcs, whereas I want to see their ugly faces up close. In other words, within axe distance. Well, now let's see if I could find a Legolas. Let's see. Oh, I guess talk to Legolas a little bit later. He's right now. Follow the road that runs from Helm's Dyke to the Hornburg, and I would presume that's the Hornburg up there. And talk to Thukitek along the road from the dike. I presume that's who this is. Oh, Thurkitel. Boy, did I blow that one.
The Hornburg has never fallen. If fortune be with us, it never will.
This is the home of Erkenbrand, but none know what has become of him. Now the king will rely on the walls of the Hornburg and on the strong arms of the people. Will you help defend the deep? Yeah, let's do it. Well, the Hornburg has never fallen, and if fortune is with us, one day they will tell my children and theirs that it still has not, even many years hence. This night may be the gravest test, and ours. May we be found sufficient. All right, so find the guardhouse of the Hornburg, talk to Hama at the guardhouse, and talk to Derwine at the guardhouse. In other words, I need to go to the guardhouse. I presume that this ramp is the entrance to where we need to go. It looks like a place designed to be as hard to get into as possible. Well, I suppose if you're a fortress, that's not a bad attribute. Hama and Derwine have a great deal to reinforce the guardhouse. Oh, have to do a great deal to do to reinforce it. All right, here we are with Hama.
The tides of war bring you once again to the king's shore, my friend.
No, this time I will not take your weapons or keep you from seeing Theoden. Now I am pleased that you are here, and hope that your skill in battle is as great as I'm told. Derwine and I seek to reinforce the doors of the guardhouse, but it is to be hoped that the forces of Saruman do not get this far into the deep. Still, it is good to be prepared. Itelhama, my meeting with Leifert and Brockbridge, and the Dwarward sighs heavily. Thank you for the news of my father. He has been in poor health for many years, but I am glad to know that he thinks of his son from time to time. He's often in my thoughts. If there is some measure of glory to be had in the hours ahead, I hope it is my lot to make Leifert proud. All right. And here we have, is it Deorine? Deorine? I guess we'll try that.
We must hope Saruman's armies do not breach the dike. These doors will not hold long.
We are trying to reinforce the doors, but there is not enough sturdy wood in the deep. Everything is either rotted or dry and old. Brittle wood will do us no good. We must hope that Gamling and the other soldiers are able to keep the armies of Saruman from breaching the dike, for these doors will not keep them for long. Amma says that I'm wrong. Well, I hope that he's right. So find Legolas atop the deeping wall and talk to Siegfried and Legolas. Alright, so that means finding the deeping wall, or I would presume that if you want to get to the top of a wall, you do some climbing, right? Well, I do see a quest ring up there. I want to check to see if this is Legolas. Well, it's an epic ring here. Legolas! Hello!
You should ask the king if there is aught you can do.
We meet once more, my friend. If you seek battle, you have come to the right place. But if you seek a good rest or peaceful quiet, then you should leave this ravine at once. If the numbers reported by Theoden scouts can be trusted, this entire gorge will be filled with orcs before the moon is down. What's the current phase of the moon so I could calculate when it will be down? Oh, anyway, from here I will have a clear shot upon any foe that seeks to cross the flat plain before the deeping wall. Every arrow that I loose will spell death to one of our enemies, but which will I first exhaust, my arrows or our foes? Well, see, that's your count of arrows? I suspect that there'll be more enemies than there are arrows in your quiver there. So I hope you have a good... Maybe you need a barrel or 2 or 3 of arrows in order to help with that. Just thinking about it. Anyway, all of us will need to do our part to play during the coming night. Well, and this is Siegfried.
These are the times that prove the strength of our hearts, are they not?
We are well met, my new friend. These are the times that prove the strength of our hearts. We are lucky to live in such times, for the opportunity to prove ourselves up to the task. Saruman's orcs will arrive at the dike, and if they are not defeated outright, they will push into the space before our walls. We will whittle down their numbers with arrows and with thrown spears, and they will shake their blades and gnash their teeth, and we'll have no choice but to turn away. Boy, are you confident. The Hornburg has never been breached. It will not be breached again tonight either. All right. Well then, I need to find Theoden and Aylmer outside the keep. Oh, so first we go to the Hornburg, then to the keep of the Hornburg. All right, so where is the keep? Well, I guess it's just going to be going around and searching until I find the way across. Ah, that looks like the way to the keep. A bit of a bridge, one way to the keep. So first they try to make the fortress as hard to enter as possible, then they make the keep as hard to enter as possible. Ah! Well, let's see who's up here. Ah, Theoden! Hello, sir.
This is where I will make my stand. Let Saruman's armies come.
Welcome to the Hornburg. This is where I'll make my stand. The army will break upon the walls, and we will scatter them across the fields. There's no shortage of tasks to be done. The only thing that we lack is time. The scouts tell me that Saruman's forces will be here before the moon is high. Alright, one says they'll be here before the moon is high, and another one says before the moon sets. Well, I suppose they could both be true. I still don't know what the phase of the moon is, so I have no idea what time that is. Alright, so let us go and see what we have here. Oh, we have Aylmer.
You ride a fast steed, my friend.
Were you able to help my sister Eowyn? Yes. And how did you find my own home of Aldburg? Has Archil maintained the village as well as his father once did? Yes, I've got all that done. I see. My uncle believes that this battle will be over quickly, but I'm not so certain. I hope that he's right. There will be much work to do to restore the mark, even once the fighting is done. But first, we must survive the coming battle. Yeah, there is that. Oh, and what does Aragorn, yeah, today.
My heart tells me that we are in for a long night.
I'm glad to see you, my well-traveled friend. The men of Rohan have sheltered in the Hornburg before, and its walls have never failed them. I have seen many points of weaknesses already, and we have only been here for a short while. We must ensure that the fortress does not fall. If Rohan falls, I fear that the rest of the Middle-earth will not stand long. Okay.
Weapons are in short supply.
Erkebrand has a small amount of weapons for the garrison, but his men took most of the weapons and armor with them when they rode to the fords, and most of them have not returned. Well, I suppose that if they were going to go to the ford for potential battle, they will take their weapons with them. That sounds logical. Theoden has called for the people of the Westfold to send as many iron goods as they could spare to the deep. It's not much, but we may be able to fashion weapons and crude armor from these iron goods in the hours that we have before the battle is joined. Search through one of the barrels of iron goods and sort its contents on the nearby mat. Any strong iron could be useful, but we need to know what we have available. Alright, fine. Let's see, what do we got? Ah! I suppose we'll talk about this. Barrel of iron goods. You retrieve a pile of iron goods from the barrel. Okay, and I am to place onto the mat. A sorting mat. Okay, with a third of the goods set out on the mat, you can see little of use. Wonderful. With most of the goods set on the mat, you still see little of use. Right? With all the pieces set on the mat, you see one or two useful pieces.
I have had an idea, friend.
While watching the men training, I realized that something interesting. From a great distance, you could not tell if a man was training with a straw dummy or if his opponent was merely parrying his blows without a great deal of motion. If I, with the keen eyes of my people, could not tell the difference, what would one of Saruman's ill-bred minions make of it? I think that we should carry some training dummies to the top of the wall. It will make the numbers seem greater, and any arrow wasted upon a dummy is one which could have struck a fighting man. That is a trade worth any amount of heavy lifting. And let me guess who's going to do the heavy lifting. Yeah, I was afraid of that. Now, let's see. The training dummies. Oh, here they are. Oh, well. Let's see what we can do. First, let's find that bridge again. Of course, because we know that Theoden is at the bridge. Now, let's see, I'm supposed to... Oh, actually, I went a little bit too far. The way down is here. So carry the training dummy to the top of its wall by Legolas. So now I just have to make sure that I... Oh! Wait. I went all the way around in order to find the bridge, and I was right next to it when I was talking to Legolas. Go!
That is a clever idea, if it proves successful.
Unless Saruman's armies turn aside for some reason I cannot tell, they will arrive at the deep during the hours of darkness. Before the moon is high, or at least before it sets, right? They will not be able to tell the difference between these dummies and the defenders of the wall until they get very near the wall, and by then I will have claimed many lives of orcs. I spoke for a time with your friend Corridon. I met his sister when we stayed in Lothlorien. If Sieglith were here, with her deadly knives, the orcs would have a great deal of fear. While I am wishing for the unlikely happenstance, why not hope for the arrival of an army of my own kin? That will be a sight indeed, but they are far from here, and have their own concerns and their own lands to defend. The Rohirrim are on their own. They will have to do with 2 elves, 1 dwarf, a hobbit, and a man. It is to be hoped that this will be enough. Oh, and speaking of Corridon, he wanted me to send you to him. He rode down to the dike, and he wished to see the approaching armies with his own eyes. So talk to Corridon by his horse at Helm's dike. Well, back outside. Hello, Corridon. Welcome to Helm's Deep.
There you are, my friend. I am glad to see you before I leave.
You're leaving? Yes, I am going to ride from the dike and see what I can tell of Saruman's forces. There may be some weakness in their ranks we will be able to exploit, but until I see his armies on the march, all we have is rumor and fear. I will return before long, and I will tell you what I have seen. Well, I'm trying to remember if he actually does, or if I don't see him again until years. Yes. Do not fear. I will return before the battle is joined, and perhaps with news that can help us. Stand strong and inspire the men of Rohan. I know that you will not let them down. All right. What does Gambling have to say about that?
Farmers of the Westfold have brought more iron goods for us.
Well, is that good or bad? Depends on how good a quality they are, I guess. We have been fortunate so far. Farmers in west of Westhold have brought more iron goods. Carry one of those barrels of iron goods to your friend Aragorn outside the walls of the Hornburg. He will be sorting through the barrels for anything of use in preparing the defenses. Yes. Actually, I'll be sorting through them most likely. Oh well. Oh. This time I have to carry him the hard way. Right. Pitchforks. So this is what we got in here. We got pickaxes, pitchforks. Is there a way to put the pitchforks in so they wouldn't be so top heavy? I'm just afraid that they're all going to start spilling over. Oh well. If this place confuses the enemy half as much as it confuses me, the enemy will never get through. Alright, now. Let's see. Aragorn, right? Plunk.
Thank you for bringing this all the way up here.
I'm glad that more barrels of iron are coming into the deep, but there is no certainty that we will be able to make use of their contents. It is worth the wager. Thank you for bringing them all the way here. You're welcome. All right, let's see. So we've got the Ring of Preparedness. Yeah, let's try that.
The next few hours will sorely test us all, but none more than the King of Rohan.
It will be Theoden's resolve as much as the strength of the fighting men that will govern our chances of survival. The king will not speak plainly to me or to any of us on this matter. It is not his way, nor the way of most who rule. Find Gleowen and ask him what he makes of the king's mood and temperament. I can't tell if the king is putting up a brave face, but Gleowen has served him for many years, and will know better than I of the truth of this. I last saw the minstrel below us, by a pile of straw near the western wall. All right, let's go and speak with our merry minstrel. Well, maybe not so merry. Ah, here he is. Hello there.
There is a map on the table over there. Will you show me how the battle will progress?
I saw the king not long ago, and he seems to be in fine spirits, Pinelor. He is not blind to the danger, but he does not ignore it either. His is not bravery without cause, but courage based on confidence in the men and of his own strength. He sheltered too long in his own hall, and now that he emerges and sees the battle, he is ready for it. I do not think that Aragorn should worry about the king. Theoden will surprise him when the battle is upon us. Ah, I speak of battle, but I am a minstrel and know little of strategy or of tactics. You have seen more war than I have, and this old man counts himself as fortunate. There's a map on the table over there. Will you show to me how this attack will progress while we wait? All right. And here we are with the map of the upcoming battle. And how would things come when the battle starts after midnight? We're going to have to find that out in the next episode of Lore of the Shadow.